All right, we've talked about this. Okay, the triangle. The triangle is step one. Okay. The triangle was step one. Okay, that's the what. These are all the elements from the notes. This is why you have to make sure that you have your notes for the test. Okay. The audience, the emotion, and the facts. Step two is our circle. The situation. What is going on to cause the writing? Okay. Why did they write the novel? Okay. The speech, the short story. Okay. Something in their life is going on or in society to cause them to write it. You have to know the situation to be successful. That's why I always give you the history of the authors. It's always good to make sure you pay attention to that. Purpose. Okay. To explain, to describe, persuade. Okay. You need to know the purpose. The theme. Kids struggle with theme a lot. I'm simplifying it for the right now. I'll get into more detail second 9 weeks. It's just the message. What is the author trying to tell you about life? The tone and the mood. Okay, the tone, this is vocabulary that shows the author's feelings about the subject. And then the mood, left that off, is the vocabulary that reflects what you feel. Okay, I don't like the word manipulate, but that's kind of what they are. They're trying to make you feel something about the subject. And what vocabulary do they use to do that? So that is step two. Okay. Step two is asking you to evaluate the effectiveness of everything on that circle. Right? So when I say evaluate, you're going to look at it and go, did they do a good job, a bad job, an okay job, a partial job? It's your choice as to what word you want to do. Looking up synonyms for good, great, partial would not be a bad idea before tomorrow. And then step 3 is demonstrating your understanding. That's your test that you have on Friday. And then step 4, applying your understanding. That's the speech that you have to write. Okay, so right now we're on step 2. Paying close attention will help you with every single test I give you. All right. Before you even start, okay, I would categorize your devices. I noticed yesterday that kids, they were flipping through their notes over and over again trying to find these things. If you have not already categorized them, okay, go ahead and do so now. The reason that I had you categorize them, when you're going through a speech, when you're answering questions on the test, when you're doing your project, it is a lot easier for your brain to break down 4 devices and figure out what they are than 22. And then next 9 weeks, when I add even more, keeping them categorized just makes it simpler for you. Okay? So when we read the line and you go, okay, that's a contradiction, you only have to look through 4 devices. Okay? Well, they're comparing something, you only have to look through 3 devices. Okay? Or I know that there's a figurative something going on, you only have to look through 6. Okay? The structure, how it is written. Okay? Looking at the punctuation, I know there's something here, you're only looking through 4. Okay? So keeping this organized, I think, will really help you. You will still need your notes for the test unless you can define each of those with examples for the test, which I don't think you guys are at the point yet where you can do that. All right, yesterday we went through and highlighted our examples. Okay. On your paper, go ahead and tell me what we have. Okay, so this is what we've identified just in this part. Okay. Make sure that before we have the test that you have the whole speech done, because otherwise you will be at a disadvantage for the questions that you're going to have. What I'm going to show you now is how to answer the questions to get a perfect score. Okay? And then you'll use this to do it. Okay, so one of the questions that you are going to have is examine the effectiveness of the rhetorical devices in the speech. Okay. There are 5 different versions of this test. Some of you will have examine the effectiveness of Mr. Fox, and it'll say story. Some of you will have effectiveness of Shadows of a Neanderthal. The stories will be under your desk for that. Okay. Some of you will have the 9/11 song. Some of you will have the 9/11 speech. Okay. No one's going to have the Eli speech because I'm giving you the answer for that one. Okay. The Eli speech is a different question. You don't know what you're going to get because everyone in the room will just randomly get another one. So please make sure that you have all of those things with you in order to answer the question. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do to answer the question is, what is the situation? So someone tell me, Elie Wiesel, what is the situation with him? Okay, now that we have his situation, what is his purpose? Okay, now that you have the situation and the purpose, now notice over here I said or theme. It's because the process is the same, but when you get, like if you get Mr. Fox or if you get Shadows of a Neanderthal, it may actually say theme on here. Okay, but you do it the same way to answer the question. Okay. Step 3. This is where you're going to go through and you are going to choose a device that is in the speech. Okay. So everyone look at your speech now and things that you have identified. And you don't have to just do what we just did because you have the whole speech done. Whatever device you choose, there has to be 3 examples of that device in the speech. You cannot evaluate the effectiveness with less than 3 devices. Okay. So looking at your speech now, someone tell me a device. All right, so we have our device, antithesis. Okay. Give me one of your examples for antithesis. Yesterday or eternities to go. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not effective at all, 5 being partially effective, or 10 extremely effective, where would you rate that? 6. So what you are doing is you are taking the example from the speech and you are saying in your mind, this is blank effective on a scale of 1 to 10. So for you, yesterday's or eternities ago, it's partially effective. It's a 6 on the scale. This is an opinion. There is no wrong answer. All you are going to do is tell me why, and you are right. Okay. So if you think yesterday and eternities ago is a 10, then write it on the 10. It doesn't matter. You have your own opinion. All you are doing is taking the example from the speech and plotting it on our line of 1 to 10. Okay. All right. For those of you that struggle to find that third one, if you don't have 3, you cannot use the device. You have to have 3. Okay. All right. Now looking at our plot, now we're going to answer the question. Okay. And just as a reminder, the question is, examine the effectiveness of the rhetorical devices. So now you have to write your paragraph. You're going to start with describing the situation. Elie Wiesel was a prisoner in a concentration camp who saw his family die. He is giving a speech to explain why we should stand up for what is wrong. So the first 2 sentences of your answer tomorrow are going to be what is the situation and what is the purpose. You have to have that in your answer. If you don't, what are you explaining the effectiveness of? I don't know. Okay. So make sure that the first 2 sentences of your answer is the situation and the purpose. Okay. All right. Now, the first device we did is antithesis. The first way he shows his purpose is with antithesis. I would give this device. All right, we have a 4 and 2 5s. Okay, so we can say 4.5, 5. It's up to you. That's kind of what you want to do. Because someone tell me why you were saying this is only partially effective. All right, so you said the reason that you gave it a 5 was because they don't really explain or elaborate enough on what he meant. Okay? You're good to go. Okay, right now you are correct. Now, do I agree with you? Doesn't matter. Okay? All that matters is you've given your example and you've explained why you think that. Is this worth 50 points? Because this question is worth 50 points of your test. This one question is worth 50 points.
So the whole test is
right now you're sitting at 2 questions. I haven't finished the test. So you are correct. It is not worth 50 points yet. So now what you're going to do, and I'm going to just shorten it on here so that you can see. Is on your paper, you will go through. Give me another device that he uses. All right, once you have your device, which you guys chose parallelism, okay, and you've plotted your 3 examples, so you did ghetto and the deportation, that was the 2 sentences, and then the line that starts with I remember, okay, and then you did the line that's frightened pleases. Okay, so you have 3 examples of parallelism. Now you have to go back to your paragraph. And you're going to go, the second device that he uses. Now you gave this one a 4 and 2 6s. So we would say partially, right? Okay. That he uses to partially. And you can actually write the number there if you want, okay, to make it very clear to me, since I'm grading it, what you mean by partially. The second device that he uses to partially, that's kind of weird. He uses that he effectively, I want to use the word effectively in there, that he uses effectively is parallelism. Let me move that. He is only partially effective with this. And then you put like in parentheses your 5. The reason is because with the lines ghetto and deportation. Why did you say that the lines ghetto and deportation were only partially effective? You have to explain why this example is what it is. Look at your notes. I tell you why parallelism is used. Okay. So you're going to explain your reasons for all 3 examples. Okay. Is that enough for 50 out of 50? No, it is not. Okay. Then you're going to do it again. Device number 3. Same thing again with the third device. 1, 5, 10. Plot it. Write your examples up here. Start your paragraph or start your next sentence with the third device. Okay. Same thing you did up there. Was effective partially, completely, very, it's up to you. Give it a number so I know exactly what you mean when you say very effective or completely effective, whatever. Give me the examples that you chose. Explain why that example was partially effective. Okay. Is that worth 50 out of 50? Yes, it is. Okay, because you need 3 examples. 3 is the magic number. Okay, 3 examples to plot in order to examine effectiveness. 3 examples to prove your answer. If your paragraph looks like this, okay, with your 3 examples, that will get you a 50 out of 50. Okay. Hopefully you wrote this paragraph down as I was explaining it, because then you have in your notes exactly what it should look like for a 50 out of 50. Okay. Every single question that I give you will be answered in the same way. Okay. It may not all be rhetorical devices. It may be theme. Okay, and you do your 3 examples of what the theme is. Okay. It may be tone. Okay, vocabulary. And then you would find the 3 vocabulary words. All of them, though, are always answered the same way. For the first test, I would plot them down. As we progress throughout the year, your brain will not need you to draw them out. You'll be able to just do it by yourself. Okay. But for right now, I would plot them out like this. This is why, as soon as you get here tomorrow, you'll start your test. Okay. You walk in that door, I will hand you the test. Okay. Make sense?